Call your sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Call your sponsor.
Welcome back to another episode of Bitch Call Your Sponsor. I'm Misty.
Hi, Misty. I'm Sam.
Hello, Sam. And let's get right into our primary purpose. Our primary purpose is for Misty and Sam to grow their friendship and maybe help others. Yay. All right. Well, my topic for today is, in the great words of the philosopher Justin Bieber, love yourself.
Ooh.
So, a sponsee called and said, it's so difficult to love yourself. And I was like, is it? Because, yeah, if you have to be perfect to love yourself, it is so difficult. But if you can accept yourself as you are, the good and the bad, and love your character interests and your self-protectors, and love your joy, and love the way you dance, and love the way your hair combs over to the side sometimes, then it's not that hard to love yourself.
Wow. Okay. So I love this topic. And when I think of love and I think of loving myself, it all, for me, roots back to how I was raised. And all of how I was raised was about perfection and conditions. So what I mean by that is, as long as I looked put together and as long as I excelled and achieved, then I was lovable. And if it was conditional, right? So if I didn't show up with, great grades or whatever, there wouldn't be acknowledgement and or attention.
Right.
And so that pattern is ingrained. And I also have experience of practicing the opposite, to love all those parts that I'd rather not.
Right. Well, I was driving down the street and I was listening to a Glennon podcast. And it was one where they were helping the sister Abby, who always wants to help others. And they had Martha Beck on. I mean, I am just name dropping left and right here. And Martha Beck was trying to help her. And Martha Beck was saying, what do you want to do? Like, what is your purpose? If you were to pass away, what do you want others to say about you? And she was like, that I helped others, that I helped others discover who they were. And basically, I won't recreate the podcast here, but the long and short of it was that she needed to help herself. And she was so invested in helping others and being there for others. And I don't have that, right? Like, that's not my thing. But I do sponsor so many people that's their thing. They want to help others. And it's like, yeah, but what you need to do is help yourself. And to me, that's what the love yourself is about. Like, if you love yourself, you won't constantly be needing to, like, I've got to help others. And for me, the way it shows up when I don't love myself is that I'm angry and I'm driving in traffic and why won't they go? And why are they stopping? They're such idiots. These people, they're so dumb. Don't they know where they're going? They're so dumb. And what occurred to me was like, Misty, the way you're treating them on some level is the way you're treating yourself. If you can't be kind to these people in the car in front of you, you cannot be kind to yourself. And so on both ways it manifests, where it's this outside thing. from these other people that needs to be directed inwards.
I love all those names, and I'm going to drop another.
Bring it.
So Mama O, Oprah.
Oh, yeah.
I believe her, if I get it, I'm probably going to get it all twisted, but her mission, her personal mission statement is to live her best life so others are given the permission or given the courage or whatever. She's like, she is the mirror is how she somehow phrases it. Does that make sense?
So much sense.
Yeah.
So much sense.
Yeah. So like she's living her best life. And then now Barack and all these other people can see what this could possibly look like, right? Like whenever she received that award, she was like, this is for the girl who was her at one point, right? Getting beaten and shunned by family and making sleep on the porch and all this trauma, capital T trauma that she's experienced, like showing that girl on the sofa that this is possible.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay. So it says our primary purpose is to stay sober and help others. And that to me reminds me a lot of what you just said about Oprah. So our primary purpose, number one, is to stay sober. Number one is about ourselves. And then help others. And it's attraction rather than promotion, right?
Yeah.
So she lives her best life and just loves herself and doesn't worry about helping others. Loving herself and being her whole person does help others. It's not an action item, really, to help others. Loving yourself and being your whole person helps others, but you don't get to really be aware of it. That's where the humility comes in. Because it is self-centered to always want to be helping others. It looks like you're being so humble and you're being so like generous and you're so kind, but really you're trying to get outside of yourself what you need inside. And on some level, that neediness is unattractive. And on some level, we can feel it. I can feel your desperation of wanting to help me. And I recoil as if from a hot flame. Whereas if you just love yourself, I will be attracted to the light within, and it will help me.
So interesting. I, in this moment, am having this thought of that it's both. It's been both. Yes, it starts and ends with me. And that if I can't practice self-care, self-love, self-compassion, then, you know, that's core. And then if it also can be a reflection of when I'm being of service as well. I think that for me, there's an extreme of service where it's the control and fix and change versus what this looks like for me in a meeting is that I will remember or try to remember newcomers' names that raise their hand and identify as new. And I will try to say say hi to 1, 2, or 3 of them after the meeting. And that is, for me, like the service and showing up. And then whether they choose to call or not call or want a number or not want a number, that's on them. But that is, you know, but I've also seen it where people go up and like, I'm your sponsor, you know, and that I think for me is the other extreme, which I don't do that.
Well, my question for you,
yes,
if we're going to go through this, is what happens when you don't remember the names or you don't do this? What happens within?
Absolutely nothing.
Perfect.
So when I don't remember the name, it's like, yeah, well, that's
perfect. Never
been a thing. And then like actually remembering names, I'm so bad. And then when I don't do it, it's what's interesting is the other side is it's actually cutting myself off sometime, not all the time, from being vulnerable on the other side of things.
Right. Yes. Mine is when I get the friend that calls and says, I can't believe I didn't remember this person's name and I can't believe, and I'm just the worst, and then and I'm just like, this is so self-centered. Like this, it sounds like you're being so great and so gracious, and it just really gets under my skin because I'm like, that's not what's happening. It's a self-centered tornado you're creating.
Yep.
That I can't go down the rabbit hole with you. I'm not willing to sign off on this is a kind, loving thing or beat you up for not remembering their names.
So I have to share something with you. The thing that actually really gets me off is what I call DL service, like down low, like nobody knows, you know, like where I don't need to share, like I know myself, I don't even need to share it anywhere that I was useful. And I used to share this with sponsees of like, you know, there are many opportunities. I don't need to have a proper service commitment in a meeting or the world for that matter to be of service and to do so graciously and on the DL, you know? And so like one way I used to share this is that like whenever there's like, you know, financial contributions, I'll donate anonymously if I feel strongly about a certain cause, you know, where I don't need to share like, oh, I did that. You know what I mean? Like like 9 times out of 10, I lose the receipt and don't even file it with my accountant for that matter, you know? In the real world, I used to work in this office and like, it was like a smaller office where it wasn't one of those corporate toilet dispensers where you need the key to like put this massive, however many roll that's like big as a tire in there. So, you know, the men can be very messy and like they wouldn't put the toilet paper roll on the actual dispenser. So when I would use the bathroom, I would go in and I would put the rolls on the dispenser and then I would do that like Four Seasons triangular fold. So there's like a triangle when you pull the toilet paper and then I would discard of the roll or recycle the empty roll, you know? And like that was for me, like my service that I would do and nobody really knew about it. If no one knew about it at the office, I wasn't like, hey, what about that toilet paper? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, it's bullshit. You know, it's like, no, I was doing it because it like, it was for me service. And like, for me, that's what really lights me up is like doing stuff that nobody knows about.
Well, and I think even this is interesting, right? Because our topic is love yourself. And what went off was service. Other people. Love yourself is, to me, being my whole self and going into a meeting and sharing where I'm at, even if it's embarrassing, because I love myself and I'm not attached to what people judge or think approve. At the end of the day, I love myself. You guys get to think whatever you want about it. In my negative $1,400, a mistake with Chase that they made, but blah, 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 you know, but I'm sharing what's happening for me in the moment and how I'm turning it over. And in doing that, I'm being of service to other people, but I'm not trying.
Right.
Whether it's DL or whether it's overt or whatever it is. And I'm just being true to myself and loving myself where I'm at, even if it doesn't look pretty. And being willing to share with other people and not being attached to whether they approve of it or not.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
No, I get that. And I am still not 100 there all the time, you know?
Ditto.
But I think that more so than not, I think that that's ultimately my growth trajectory of self-love. Because a lot of my growing up is so ingrained, it's so deep.
Right.
That the looking good, not looking bad, achieving, quote
transactional.
unquote, yes, is so deep.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Whereas
Who are we allowed to be loved if we're not transactional? If it's not, I've done something for you and then it's okay for you to love me.
Yeah.
Call
Your
sponsor.
sponsor.
Call
Your
you
sponsor.
sponsor.
Your sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Call.
New
your
episode tomorrow. Send us an email bcysponsor@gmail.com.